Hello everybody, this is Pastor Green. We're doing another Bible study, Daniel chapter 6. If you'd like me to come speak at your church, or if you have any questions, you can email me at godsohman@gmail.com. Daniel chapter 6, starting with verse 1. And it pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. Now sometimes this is a mistake. You have people that are very good workers, they do fantastic jobs, but as soon as you give them pieces of power, they start acting really crazy. The power goes to their head. But Darius, who's the new king, he goes ahead and picks 120 men and puts them in charge of the whole kingdom. And you can see right here the Medes and Persian Empire. It's kind of like in the pink color there to the right. The Medes and Persians are two separate areas, and they actually came together, called the Medes and Persians, to conquer the whole entire area there you see on the map that's in color. This is the Medes and Persian Empire. You can see Jerusalem and Shushan. And what this king did is he picked 120 men, and he separated the land that they owned into 120 different areas, put princes involved, basically like governors. If something was to happen, they go to this person to solve disputes. And then if they can't solve it, they go to an upper court, which has 4 different people in it to solve disputes. And it says here, and over these 3 presidents, of whom Daniel was the first, that the princes might have account to them, and the king should have no damage. So if the 120 princes couldn't figure out stuff, they went to the 3 presidents, and Daniel was the first president. And he's got these 3 other guys that's underneath him. So there's 4 people that's in charge, and they didn't like Daniel very much. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes, because an excellent spirit was found in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. You know, Daniel at this point is probably around close to 90 years old. He's been in Babylon for about 70 years, and there was just something about him that made this king and the previous kings like him so much. I think there's 4 people in the Bible that nothing bad's ever said about them. You have Daniel, you have Joseph, you have Jesus, and you have Job. So Daniel's one of those people that nothing really bad was said about him. I mean, we're going to find out that people go after him, but nothing really bad was ever said about him. And the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. You know, I want you guys to comment below. Wouldn't it be nice for people when they think about you, thinking that guy's great, there's nothing wrong with him, I like what he's doing? You know, these people didn't like Daniel, and yet, even though they didn't like him, they couldn't find anything wrong with him. They couldn't find anything that he was doing that they could go after him for. And then said these men, we shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. So the only thing that they could go after him is saying, this guy loves his God so much. Later we'll find out that he prays 3 times a day. This guy Daniel loves God so much, we have to use that against him. And these presidents and princes assembled together to the king, and said thus to him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors, and the princes of counsellors, and the captives have consulted together to establish a royal statute, to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask petition of any god or man for 30 days, save thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, first of all, I want to say a couple things. Starts off by saying all the presidents. I don't think that Daniel was included in this decision, so that's a lie right there. And then it says that they're going to make a decree that whoever prays, basically gives any kind of prayer to any god for 30 days besides the king, they're going to punish him. They're going to put him into the den of lions. Now notice it says the den of lions. There's a difference between a den of lions and a lion's den. This right here is a lion's den, but as you can see, there's no lion's home. A den of lion could be a place where they sleep, but it doesn't mean that they're there. A den of lions means that the den has lions in it. The King James is very particular to say the den of lions, because they want you to know that there was actually lions' home. Daniel 6:8. Now, O king, establish the decree, and sign the writing, that it should not be changed, according to the laws of the Medes and Persians, which alter it not. See, the Medes and Persians had this really silly law, that once a law was made, you couldn't go back and change it. Once it's made, that's the law, you can't change it. And so Darius is thinking, this is a great law. For 30 days, I'm going to be the only person that gets recognition. I like this law, and these guys are trying to get him to sign that. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing of the decree. So King Darius said, yeah, I like this idea. Everybody's in agreement of it. Nobody's going to pray to any god except for me. It's good for me, Darius. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went to his house, and his windows being open in his chamber towards Jerusalem, he knelt upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed, and gave thanks before his God, as he did aforetime. So basically, Daniel knew the king signed this law. He knew what the law was, and instead of ignoring his God, he left his windows open. He didn't even try to hide what he was doing. He went in there 3 times a day and continued praying to God, just like he did before the decree was signed. He didn't really care about this law because, God comes first. The Bible says that if there's any law that goes against God, you got to defy that law and follow God. Then these 3 men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. I don't think they necessarily found him praying. I think they sought out to find it. They knew he was going to pray 3 times a day. They knew he was going to honor his God. So these guys were just lying in wait so they could see it. And like I said, Daniel didn't even close his windows. He didn't care about this decree. He just wanted to serve his God. Then they came near and spoke before the king concerning the king's decree. Has that not signed a decree, that every man shall ask petition of any god or man within 30 days, save thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, this thing is true, according to the laws of Medes and Persians, which altereth not. So these guys say, we caught Daniel, he did it. Went to the king and said, King, you made this law. Remember you made this law saying that people couldn't pray to you? Well, there's this guy that did it. They got to get punished. They got to be put in the den of lions. And the king's like, I did sign that law. Then he answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, that guy over there, the guy you like, which is of the children of captivity of Judah, regardeth not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou sign, but makest his petition 3 times a day. I think it's interesting. They say that Daniel, that children of the captivity, well, Daniel's like 90 years old now, and they're still calling him the children of the captivity of Judah. He's been there for over 70 years. He's probably older than these guys are. Then it says that he regardeth not the king. I think he loves the king very much. He honors him and respects him. But they think that because they caught him in a lie, he doesn't like the king. I agree he doesn't like the decree. He doesn't like that at all. But he still loves the king. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored to the going down of the sun to deliver him. So the king, when he realized he was caught into this trap, oh, I made this law, oh, I'm going to hurt my buddy Daniel, oh, I'm mad at myself for not thinking. He said it was sore displeased, and he just thought about it all night long. And then these men assembled unto the king, and said to the king, Know, O king, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. They're saying, remember, king, you made this agreement, this law. You can't go changing it to save Daniel's life. You gotta go through with it. Then the king commanded and brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spoke and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. See, Darius didn't look at God as his God, but he knew he was Daniel's God. Darius probably heard about the 3 boys in the fiery furnace. He probably heard about Nebuchadnezzar's dream. He probably heard about Nebuchadnezzar's grandson, and the writing on the wall. He probably heard that, this guy who came from Judea served all these kings. He was a loyal servant. He knew all about the God. all the different people before him started following Daniel's God. It says a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Now, a couple things. It seems to me from the reading of the text that there was a hole in the ground, and that hole in the ground was a drop, and it drops down into the den of lions. So the lions are down there. You throw a body into it, they fall down. You close a vertical slab. Then the king says he put a signet on there. They'd put a little ball of wax on the door. And the king would use his ring, and he put his funny design from his ring onto the wax, so you would know this is the king. And if somebody broke that, you would know that. Then the king went to his palace, and he passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and sleep went from him. King Darius is just so heartbroken and so sad that he hurt Daniel. And now he doesn't even know if Daniel's going to be there in the morning when he goes and sees him. He spent all night fasting. It says he couldn't even sleep. There's a lot of laws that are being passed right now that are just horrible, horrible laws. And I really hope these congressmen that are passing these laws, they have trouble sleeping at night because they're passing these laws that are really hurting other people. I hope they have a guilty conscience. It says he passed the night fasting. He was doing everything he could in hopes that Daniel will be fine in the morning. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste to the den of lions. So as soon as he possibly could, he ran down there to check on Daniel. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamenting voice unto Daniel. And the king spoke and said unto Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, was he able to deliver thee from the lions? He went down there and cried in this little sad voice. And he said, O Daniel, did your God save you down there? And then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God has sent his angel, and he has shut the lion's mouths, that they have not hurt me. Forasmuch as before him inconsistency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, I have done no hurt. So, think about this. Daniel is about 90 years old. He just got thrown into a pit. The fall didn't kill him. The fall didn't hurt him. Not even a broken bone happened. And he was down there, and the lions didn't hurt him either. God sent an angel to protect Daniel. Then the king was exceedingly glad for him, and he commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. Then the king commanded and brought those men which had accused Daniel, and cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, their wives. And the lions made mastery of them, and broke all their bones in pieces forever. They came to the bottom of the den. And saying that these lions were so hungry that before these people could even fall to the bottom of the den, the lions were already on top of them. The lions were already pouncing on them. So some people say, well, maybe the lions just weren't hungry. Well, this says right here that as soon as they brought Daniel up, they threw the other guys in there, and these lions were so hungry, but before they hit the ground, they had basically attacked them. Then King Darius wrote upon all the people, nations, and languages that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel. For he is the living God, and steadfast forever. And his kingdom that shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be forever till the end. I think Darius is starting to get the fact that Daniel's God is very powerful. He delivereth and rescueth, and worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. And it was delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, in the reign of Cyrus, and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Well, guys, that's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, click the bell, whatever you got to do. If you know somebody that's going to enjoy this, please send it to them. That's the best way to share my stories here, to share my Bible studies. On the bottom right of the screen there is going to be the Daniel Bible study. The top left of the screen It's going to be the Exodus Bible study. Bottom left is going to be a random video that YouTube thinks that you're going to like. It's usually the one before it, so who knows what it's going to be. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching. I'll see you in the next video, and have yourself a great day.